Okay, so what we're going to do now is go over that Duracell commercial from '81 for those alarms. Of course, it's a cool commercial, but as any alarm enthusiast knows, it's filled with errors. And we've talked about that at the Facebook groups. So we'll start in the living room scene.
A fire prevention reminder from Duracell.
You test the alarm and it makes the sound. And that could be right if the alarm were A201, 001, or 101. The 12.6 volt ones that had the electromechanical horn and not the star buzzer. But then he opens up the cover and it's the A201, 301 because you can see the star buzzer. I'm pretty sure none of those actually use the squealer electromechanicals. A little side note here. I thought, but I think it was just a dream, that there was one in a gas station for sale that made a continuous sound at that pitch. Might have been, might not have been, might have been a dream. So anyway, let's go to the actual alarms, where the smoke's wafting up and triggering them. This is where they're all wrong, for the most part. Of course, it does say simulated demonstration at the bottom. So I'm going to go through this and break it down. So the first alarm to sound is the Honeywell CD200.
Independent tests of these smoke.
It could be the correct sound, but I've never heard any of that low, either in person or online. Most of them I've heard range from that range. But there could have been one, because like there was a Looney Tunes commercial where there was a CD200 with a nose and like starts to sneeze and it creates that same pitch. And the next one to go off is the A201 401 or 401C. Correct coding, but wrong pitch. Because later on GE did use 5.6, then they used 4.6 when they transitioned to Black & Decker. However, those were still in the range. And then there's that one that Federal 322 has that does the pitch. So the next one goes off is the smoke guard. Either 809 or 805, but I'm pretty sure it was the 809 because they were available at that point, according to the catalogs, and they're on Dwayne Pearsall's website, or WPI website of his collection. The 805s weren't available then. They stopped being made and weren't in the catalog anymore. So we'll just say it's the Piezo 809, and that's wrong, because it's doing the GE interrupted, the type sound. So the GE and that one should be switched. And again, that's possibly wrong, because most I've heard are the pitch. There is one that came from the Y in Austin. It was by the kitchen there, where the elevator is. That was pitch. So there might have been one that were that. Next one to go off is the F900D. That's correct sound. So the next one, it's the FXB 1A. That's the correct sound if it were the OG ones with the electromechanical horn and no test button. Then the next one to go off is the Emhart 035.
Worked every time.
Electromechanical, and that'd be the correct sound. And the last one is the second GE A201 401 401C.
In fact, many smoke alarm manufacturers.
But again, that creates the wrong sound because it creates another electromechanical sound. So that should have, again created the type sound. So here's my recreation of it, how it should have sounded. I had to cheat a bit because at this point, November 20th, 2020, I don't have an electromechanical FXB or Emhart 035. So I just used Baltimore Alarms and Fans recordings of his 035 and FireX FXB1. All the other ones that I have had, or I do have, the Honeywell and the A201, 401s, 301, 809. So here we go.
A fire prevention reminder from Duracell.
This smoke alarm protects my family night and day. So I check it regularly, like the National Fire Protection Association recommends. And they use batteries I can depend on. Duracell.
Independent tests of these smoke alarms prove that after a full year, Duracell batteries work every time. In fact, many smoke alarm manufacturers recommend Duracell. The copper top battery.
His family depends on Duracell.
So now, I could have sworn the commercial was different. Maybe it was a corrupted memory, or maybe it was another subsequent commercial where they fixed that title problem. Because if you notice, the titles are actually overlapping each other. So here's how I remember it. I thought the guy said day and night instead of
Night and day.
then we get to the multi-alarm part. It had a darker background and started out with the wards with escape light that activated, or the Mastercraft version if you're in Canada, or the LG Family Guard version. Then the smoke guard was actually facing the left of the screen and making this sound. This might be right, because there were probably 800 days that had a high pitch like that, since they did use the delta alarm horns, some of which made that pitch or were in that range, like this. Like the ones in the 12.6 volt Captain Kelly's, Teledynes, Vigilante ES7s, or select Honeywell TC49s like Ultimate Alarms Fans has, or even the pitched Norelco HB0933A that Jesse has. It also might have been an 805, but at this point, only one of us collectors has an 805, and he hasn't made a video of it, so we have very little detail on them. But for the most part, the only squealer smoke guard alarms I know of that pulsed were certain 700s, like the prototypes in Dwayne's collection, or some that certain homeowners had that saved them, according to the testimonials in Dwayne's collection, and the 907 AC alarms. But anyway, going back to that commercial, there were several other alarms that aren't seen in this commercial before it ended on the A201 401 or 401C, and it was making the correct sound when the guy opened it. Well, like I said, though, it could be a corrupted memory or it could be an alternate commercial. But there you go, folks. Thanks for watching.